put these on so I know I'm not deafening anybody. Is that okay? Hello, can you hear me? Let me just make sure it's not too low. We had an evening the other night working this out, so I'm just making sure I'm not too loud. There we go. I think that'll be okay. How are we all? Welcome back to my channel, True Crime with Jess Rose. I'm sorry, I'm just getting myself together. I'm here every Tuesday and Thursday at 8 p.m. Tuesdays are my request evening. Thursdays are stories that I've come up with. If you'd like to join my Patreon, it's patreon.com/JessRose5472. Or just join us on the live. Or like, comment and subscribe. I'd really appreciate it. Hey, how you doing, sis? How are we? Can you hear me? Do I sound clear? Do I sound too loud at all? Do I sound okay? We got the mic. Oh, you can't see her. You can't see her. There she is. There she is. I wonder why you can't see her as much tonight. There she is. Can you hear me? There she is. I want you to be able to maybe put her up here. No, that's a bit too loud. That's a bit too obvious, isn't it? Am I clear? Okay. I wonder why it's not as... Maybe that way. I wonder why it's not as... What about that? There we go. There we go. I haven't got me little rose on the top though, so it just looks a bit dodgy again, doesn't it? But we're just gonna have it there. Can you tell it's a mic? Can you tell it's a mic? Mitty's blocking me thing. It's yeah, can you see that's a mic? Or does it just look like something that you're gonna scratch off your screen when you're watching? I know what I'll do. One sec. I can't bring it down anymore. Can I? Can I bring it down a bit? There we go. There we go. How's that? How you doing, Phil? How's it going? I'm still faffing about with my mic. Sorry. I'm still faffing. Still getting this together. Believe it or not, after the live the other night, I still faffed about for a bit after. Oh, hey, Sharon. Oh, that's okay. Thanks for popping in to say hi. Hope you're okay. I was just saying after the live the other night, I did have a little... Mickey's doing good. She's doing good. She's doing really well. She's doing good over here. But, yeah, after the other one, I thought I'll have a little practice. I'll have a little... faff around with it, got it all set up and everything, and now I've come to do it again tonight, and I'm like, oh, I don't know if that's okay, but you know what, we're good. I reckon we're okay. I reckon we're good to go. And I have these headphones this evening to go with. I had the black ones for my black top. I have these ones for this top. Check me out. I only have the two, so I would only be able to wear black or pink, but there we go. So, are we all okay? Did we enjoy the other night? Oh, it's doing that thing again. There we go. Oh, okay, Sharon. That's okay. Thank you for popping in to see us, though. Thank you. But I'm just waiting to see if we're going to hang on for anyone else, and then we'll start. And I've got a confession. I've got a confession about this story. Ooh, I love your whole setup. Pink is the best colour ever. I know, look at me. I'm ripping you off. I'm not a massive fan of the old pink, but it's where we are. It's where we are at the minute. It's messing my earrings up. Let me try and bring this up a little bit so my earrings don't look all faffy. Faffy. There we go. There we go. See? There we go. It'll be a while. I will watch Gannon Stauch. Oh! Oh no, when I wrote this earlier, I was like, oh my God, I've really got to make sure I don't start laughing while I'm saying it at the beginning. Oh, thank you, sis, thank you. It was all, do you know, I was working on this right to the last minute. I've known about it, I've been working on it, but it's when I'm getting my notes together and then I start thinking, oh, what about that bit and that bit and that bit? And right up until probably about 20 minutes ago, I'm like, that bit there, oh, it's just I'm just terrible. I really am. I really genuinely am. But if I don't write it down, I'll get sidetracked, and then afterwards I'll be like, oh, I forgot that bit. So yeah, I have to have my notes in front of me. Otherwise, I'd just start rambling, and then I'd lose where I was. So yes. So I have a confession. I have a confession about this. Now, do you remember the other day I said this was a request, didn't I? I said this was a request story. Okay, okay, lovely. I'll see. Oh, do you want me to hang on before I give you my, before I tell you my, what do you call it? What do you call it? Oh, what am I looking at? My confession. I'll hang on. I'll hang on a sec. If you're watching tomorrow, I'll just have a little chat with the people who are on the live. Okie dokie, sis. Have a little chat and then I'll begin the story. Once I begin the story, I continue with that. So if you want to join us on the live, they're a great bunch in the comments. They all have a little chat while watching the story and everything else. But once I start, I don't tend to stop and interact with the live itself. So if you are watching tomorrow, don't worry. Once I start the story, if you want to forward it to them, you can. I can't tell you when I'm going to start it because I'm just hanging on a second. But once I start, there we go. And yeah, I'd love you to join on these lives. We have a good time on the lives, even though obviously... Oh, okay, Sharon, see you soon. See you soon. Take care. Thanks for popping in, lovely. Here she is. Hey, Hayley. Did she come and hunt you down? You can't get away. You can't get away. If it's not me hunting you down on your social media, she'll come and find you. She will come and find you, she will. So, yeah, I was just saying, what was I saying, actually? Yeah, this confession. Okay. The other day, I was saying I would do this as a request. And I believed at the time it was Natalie's or Kelly's request. And I thought I'll do this one on Tuesday and I'll do a different one for tonight. This is my explanation as to why I was still getting some notes together, even though I knew this case. She rang you. She'll hunt you down. Yeah, so the reason it was all a bit faffed was I'd got the wrong case. The actual request story, and this is going to sound horrific, the request story was Garnet and Lacey Spears. It's Garnet Spears. That was the requested case. Ugh. And when I was saying Gannon Stauch, I'd got confused. And it wasn't that I'd got the cases confused. I think I'd got the requests confused, and I don't actually think anyone had requested this one. So I am so apologetic to that, to Natalie and Kelly. I think I'd named you both. And what it was is you were actually requesting the Garnet Spears case, Lacey Spears. I'm not, you see, you didn't get me. You didn't get me. See how you tried? You didn't get it. Oh, would ya? So I'm confessing here, and they're completely sidetracking me in the comments. But that case, the Garnet Spears case, slash Lacey Spears, is Tuesday next week. So that'll be my live for Tuesday next week. And that was the request of, I believe it was Natalie, it might have been Kelly. It was one of those ladies. But, oh, I don't know if any of you were in the comments after Thursday, but Kelly actually requested one as well that I'll be doing after the Garnet Spears case. And it's O.J. Simpson. No! What do we think of that for a request? That's the one I've been asked to do. And I was just like, ooh. I got, yeah, I just think, okay. Yous are terrible. Is it the pink? Is that what it is? Makes me look all innocent and just, I don't know what words I'm looking for here. Innocent and just pure with my pink on. They're on. I'm talking about me earphones and me matching top, Phil. That's all I'm talking about. I've got a pink top on with matching pink earphones. So that's what I'm on about at the minute. That's what I feel like they're mocking me because I look like a candy floss. I look like a candy floss studying for talking to them. But yeah, OJ Simpson. So that one's on the cards, but that's going to take a little while because that's yeah, it's a little bit of a divisive one, that. So I'm quite excited, but I have to make sure I get all my candy floss. Yous are terrible. Yous are terrible. You really are. It's just, yous are so bad. Oh dear. Oh dear. Do you know these micas? This mic it's just the shape of it, isn't it? It's literally just the shape of it. There, you could go. It's that girl, ain't it? I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do. I don't. I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do. I didn't mean it. I didn't mean it. I didn't mean it. I'm gonna ignore it. I'm just gonna ignore it. I'm gonna ignore that happened. We're gonna move on. We're gonna move on with that. You know the girl. I don't know what happened. See what you did? That was you and Hayley. Did you know who I meant? The girl. That girl. That, it's right at the beginning as well. I did it. I don't, Phil, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm going to continue now. If you're watching tomorrow, just forward. Just press forward. Right, I'm gonna start now. I don't know what just happened. Okay, I've got a mic so you can hear me muttering to myself as well, can't you? You can hear that. You can hear me muttering to myself. Right. Okay, so we're just gonna bypass that happened, and we're going to begin with the devastating Gannon Stauch story. Okay. If you know of this story, absolutely awful. Was following the trial for quite a while because the woman involved that I'm going to tell you about just blew my brain. Every brain cell just blown straight out of my skull. It was just crazy. Okay, so let's begin. Gannon Stauch, he was born on the 29th of September 2008. Okay, his parents. Okay, we have his mum, Landon Bullard. This is his mum. And his dad, although his dad's name is down as Albert, Al for short, Stauch, I've actually found it as Eugene Albert Stauch. So it's one of those cases, he's obviously using his middle name. So Al Stauch is how I'll be addressing him from now on. Okay. Now, Al and Landon, they actually met. They actually started dating in 2003 and got married in 2005. Obviously, then Gannon's born in 2008. Now, Gannon himself was actually born 3 months early. And when he was born, he was £1.6 teeny. Doctors gave him only a 10% survival rate. And he just surprised everybody. His parents, the extended family, the doctors, of course. He just, against all odds, just thrived. He just, it just went from strength to strength after he was born, and such a gorgeous looking lad. Very, very intelligent, right to the point of being said he was gifted. This is from his comments from his teachers at school. It said he was gifted. He was very talented, very, very loving. His dad said he was actually full of love, very popular, very well liked amongst his peers at school. Now, when we got to 22nd of January 2012, so that would have made Gannon about 3, his sister Lena was born, and she used to call Gannon Bubba. That was like her nickname for him. And his parents, well, his dad, I don't know if it was his mum as well, but I heard his dad say it a couple of times, G-Man. That's what they used to call him, G-Man. Or his sister would call him Bubba. So there's little nicknames for him, and you see the pictures of him, very cute lad. Looked just like he was living his best life and living life to the full. Fullest. Sorry, that didn't even make sense, did it? Living life to the fullest. And yeah, like I say, very talented. Loved playing Sonic computer games. What would a young lad be if I didn't throw in what computer game he enjoyed playing? So that's a little bit about Gannon himself. Now, around 2013, let me tell you a little bit about actually Landon and Al themselves. I've watched a few videos, let's say, about this case. I've also watched the trial. I've watched the Law and Crime Network. I've obviously gone online and found newspaper reports and everything else while I've been getting all my notes together. And of course, as what happens a lot, there are different stories. A lot of it remains, what's the word I'm looking for? A lot of it remains the same, let's say, across the board. But there are a couple of details that are different on across the platforms. Now, what I had heard, so I'm going to say allegedly for a lot of the beginning of this, is that this isn't allegedly. Al himself, he was in the National Guard and he was away for a lot of the time. So then you've got Landon at home with these 2 young children. And it was said that she started to feel a little bit like a single mom because he was away for weeks at a time. I don't know if it ran into months, but certainly weeks at a time. And that was how she began to feel within the relationship, within the marriage. So when we get to 2013, they meet a lady. When I say they, I mean Landon and Al meet a woman by the name of Letitia Harding. Okay, and they meet her on a softball team. It must have been like for parents, just having fun, maybe, or yeah, just where they'd go off, just to have a bit of time on their own, maybe. But they met her on this softball team. Now, let me tell you a little bit about Letitia Harding. Okay. Now, Letitia was born on the 4th of August 1983. Okay. What we know about her, we know through herself later on, but she claims that thanks to her mum's boyfriends, her parents had broken up when she was quite young. She made claims that her mum's boyfriends, so not just one, that she was physically, sexually and emotionally abused during these relationships that her mum was having with these boyfriends. This is what's claimed, all right? It's alleged, and you're going to see why I'm being a little bit flippant about it as well. Okay, it's not a reaction I would normally give to a claim like that, but you're going to see why I'm not exactly sounding as sympathetic as you would think very soon. Now, Letitia, very clever. Very, very, well, very academically. God, would you even say that? Anyway, supposedly quite clever. Let's leave it at that. She graduated high school in 2001 when she was about 18. It was said that during her school time, she made a bomb threat at the school. Like an anonymous bomb threat that was found to be her. Oh, it's a bit much, isn't it? It's a bit much at high school. But she'd done that. She didn't get charged with anything from that. I don't know whether they put it down to high school jinx, but a bomb threat's a bit far-fetched. Especially given the fact this was 2001. Let's remember the year. Okay. It doesn't say the month. But I'm assuming given this woman's what we learn about her later on, I'm assuming it's after September 2001, but I could be wrong, okay? She wasn't charged with anything, though. She then went on to steal a car. It was reduced down to a misdemeanor, so all she got was 45 days in jail for that and £1,000 fine. Something along those lines. Something, I think that was about it anyway. 2002 comes around though, and she meets a guy called Chance Hunt, okay, and begins like an on and off relationship with him. May the 1st, 2002, so quite soon after meeting him, she goes on to have a daughter called Harley, okay, a little girl called Harley. She studies, like I say, when I mentioned earlier, apparently very intelligent. She studied political science in college. She goes on to get a master's in curriculum and instruction. She also gets a doctorate in education at Liberty University. So a lot of, a lot of things to be proud of within her education, you would think. She marries Chance, but then in 2010, now remember Chance is the father to Harley. In 2010, she gets arrested for domestic violence against Chance. Starting to see where I'm going with this lady. They then go on to separate not long after this charge of domestic violence. As a side note, Chance himself goes, it's not related to the story, it's just something I've found from bits that I've looked at, and it does say that Chance actually died of an overdose in 2014. And something very, very odd about that. Again, it's a side note, but it's just going into maybe let you know a little bit about Letitia's character. Rather than telling Harley, when Harley was ready to hear it, that your dad died of a drug overdose, which was what he died of, she said that he died of from a home invasion. So basically, your dad was killed. So it's isn't your job to make your kids feel better about adult situations? Anyway, that's just little bits about Letitia's character. All right. So we get to 2014. Now, if you remember, Al and Landon had met Letitia in 2013. All right. 2014, Landon and Al break up. Obviously, this is Gannon and Lena's dad. Okay. The parents, they break up. And Al, in 2014, begins dating Letitia. I don't know. I just find just the whole thing's really seedy. Like she's single and she meets this married couple, and I suppose you'll understand my hatred of her. Am I letting him off with it? No. It does appear that they'd maybe started up before Landon and Al had broke up, but I don't know. I don't know. That's alleged. Again, I don't know. It could have been after. I genuinely don't know. It's just all very, it's all very quick. Let's just say that. Okay. So in 2015, Letitia and Al marry. Hence the reason when you look out there, you will see that Letitia's surname is Letitia Stauch. Okay, so that's why you'll notice her name, a surname as being that, because then she marries Al in 2015. Al, I'm saying Al. I'm looking like when I'm listening to myself, it sounds like I'm just saying the letter Al. God, that sounds the same as Al. I'm just saying the same thing on. Hey, Al. That's what I'm saying, Al. God, the Brummie accent's killing me tonight, isn't it? So, they get married, okay? Around about 2016, just a little side note, Letitia's teaching certificate is suspended. It's all very finicky as to why that happened, but it's just something we know about, okay? 2017 we get to now. Like I say, I've seen different sources for this information. I'm going to say alleged for it. It's said that after Al and Landon break up, which again is Gannon and Lena's parents, it's said that Landon kind of goes off the tracks a little bit. Now, she's got full custody of the two kids when her and Al break up. And obviously he begins this relationship with Letitia, and she's got her daughter Harley. And although he does get to see the kids, he's in the National Guard and he's not long met Letitia at this point. So Landon's got full custody of the two kids. And then it says that drugs become involved with her. It's like she goes downhill. Like I say, this is alleged. The reason I'm saying it's alleged is the part where I've heard it from, they seem quite sure of their information, but because I didn't then hear it or read it elsewhere, I'm going to say alleged because I don't know. But it does say that in 2017, Landon had begun dating a guy called Mike, okay? And Albert, believed that the home had become unsafe for his children at this point. This is very ironic. Is ironic the right word? And you'll see why. But he believed, he was doing it from the nicest a point of view, and he's trying to be the best dad he can be. And as far as he can see, from what I've learnt about him, from what he can see, it's, the home's becoming unsafe because there's apparently drugs in the home with Landon and Mike. And so he goes for full custody of his children. It says that we don't believe that Letitia was too happy about this, but this is where we go. He goes for full custody. And in 2018, full custody is awarded to Albert for his two children. All right. So this blended family, now they'd all been living in South Carolina, okay, in a place called Horry County. This blended family of Letitia and Albert with their children, Harley with Letitia, and then Gannon and Lena, they all moved to Colorado, okay, and begin this blended family, blended life. Landon she does get to see the kids, but I think it's sort of a weekend visits and things like that. I think it was quite reduced down. It's very sad. The whole thing's really sad. And as I'd mentioned, Albert is in the National Guard, so he has to travel away a lot. Okay, he's away a lot. It was a source of problems with him and Landon. I believe it starts to become a problem with him and Letitia. And don't forget, she was a mother of one with Harley, and Harley was kind of, she was finishing school, she was becoming work age. You know, Letitia must have felt, I've done my job, I just want to go and live life. And next thing you know, she's now the stepmother to these children. So she weren't too impressed with the whole thing. So now we get to the 27th of January 2020. All right, that's where we are. At 6:50 p.m, Letitia reports Gannon missing from the home. Okay. At this point, Gannon is 11 years old. Remember what I said about this boy? Gorgeous looking lad. Really popular, really loving. Loved by his entire family. And she phones up and she reports him missing. And basically she said she'd last seen him between the times of about 3:15 to 4 p.m. and he was going to his friend's house and he was due back about 6. And she was starting to worry because he hadn't come back. But when the police arrive at the house and they start asking, where's this friend's house and what are the parents' names, etc., she doesn't know. She doesn't know. And I'm strict. I'm really strict. And he's 11. How do you not know where his friend's house is and what his friend's name is? So I found that really odd. Straight away. But given the fact of where they were living, Gannon was, with my own children, we're in quite a busy city. It's not exactly safe for them to go out and play. It's really not. So that's why if my kids were to ask me, can I go here, I could go there, it's like, I want to know what colour underwear the parents are wearing. I want to know, how many hours sleep they got the night before. It's ridiculous, but I need to know that much. I need to know everything. I'm a control freak, so I need to know everything. But if I was in a place where I could safely let my kids just go out and play and have fun and, like I did when I was a kid, morning till night, just gone, I can understand to a degree that you might not know where that particular friend lives. That you might know the area, but you might not know which particular house. So I will say that each situation's different. I do get that. I just find it a bit strange given the fact he's only 11, but that's me. That's just me. Okay, so when the police hear what she said, they originally put him down as a runaway. And there's confusion over that. There's real confusion over that. It's like, why are they putting this 11-year-old down as a runaway? It's all very odd. So Al himself is notified straight away. He's in Denver, and so he's called straight back, and Letitia goes and collects him from the airport on the 28th. So by this point, Gannon has been missing for a day at this point, all right? So her story was Gannon had been off school ill, all right? And she waited until that time and then she'd let him out. That was what she'd says, and that's how she kept it. And there was only her as a witness because Harley had been at work and Lena had been at school. Okay, so it's just her word, Letitia, I'm talking about here. It's just her word at where Gannon was, what time he'd left, etc., etc. And the police had checked the house out, and the house looked perfectly clean. It didn't look like there was anything gone on of anything dodgy there. So they'd marked him off technically as that he'd kind of run away. And that'll become clear soon, but that's what they'd said. Okay. So on the 30th of January 2020. Now he's been missing 3 days. It's January, it's winter, it's freezing. He's 11 years old, and they finally mark him as a missing and endangered child, a missing endangered child status. That's what was marked up by police, okay? But it took 3 days to do this, okay? 31st of January 2020, he's now missing 4 days, all right? Letitia, she goes on a TV interview. Again, you've got to see, I can't do this justice. So all I'll do is I can describe how she was to you. But oh my God. Oh, it's just terrible. It genuinely is. She's like, I never hurt this child, the local community, reckon I'm not out there looking for him. Just the stuff she's saying is so bizarre. If you're a step parent, mother or father, and a child's gone missing under your watch, if you watch this TV interview online, it's just not what you'd say. It's just not the reaction you'd give. It's just the most bizarre thing you've ever seen, okay? She's really defensive. She just keeps on lying. Nothing makes sense. So we get to the 3rd of February 2020. He's now been missing 7 days, okay? A whole week. And Letitia decides to rent a van, and she goes off to Florida with Harley. Bit odd, you might ask. Yes, it is a bit odd, isn't it? A little bit odd. We get to the 4th of February 2020. He's now missing 8 days, okay? So there's a neighbour that lives just down from where Al and Letitia lived with the kids, and his name's Roderick Drayton, okay, this fella. And he says to police, I know this woman's done something to this boy. Okay, this is what he says. And he's got camera footage. I don't know if it's a ring camera or it's, I believe when I've viewed it, it can't be ring camera. It's got to be cameras around his house. Okay. And he gives this to the police, this footage. And what he did, he got a really bad feeling when he found out Gannon had gone missing. He got a really bad feeling. And he starts going through his own camera footage to try and see if he can see anything as to where this boy's gone. Because he's just got a really bad feeling about the whole thing. And what he sees on here, it shows Gannon at 10:13 a.m. getting into Letitia's car. All right? And what Roderick says, he says when he saw that on the footage, he kept on watching, and he knew that if that car came back and Gannon wasn't in it, he knew she'd done something wrong. And at 2:19 p.m, Letitia arrives home all on her own. Alone. Okay? So nothing's adding up at the minute. Once this camera footage becomes known to police, they realise. To be honest, as I continue telling you the story, you're going to see that the police were already very suspicious of Letitia. Okay? And Al himself, when he sees this footage, he cries his eyes out. Because he just knows this woman he loves, his wife, a woman he married, a woman he fought for custody of his children, because even though he's deployed away a lot, he really thought he could trust her, given the fact that she's brought up her own daughter as well, anyway. He just thought this highly educated woman that he'd fell in love with could be trusted with his children. And he's devastated. He's absolutely devastated because he knows she's lying about the timings that she's given to the police. He doesn't know why, and he hopes he doesn't know why. He hopes it's not what he thinks. So at this point, the FBI is involved in the case and everything else. Everyone's looking for this boy. We get to the 5th of February 2020. At this point, he's missing for 9 days. Okay. The district attorney, Don May, goes to the home, and the press also go, and they do an interview with Albert and Landon. And it's heartbreaking. It genuinely is. You know, they're talking about Gannon, just saying, like, just what a lovely lad he is, and they just want him home. And it genuinely is. It's a heartbreaking thing to watch. And Layla, at the end, she says, "I love you, Bubba." And it's just so sad. 7th of February 2020, he's now missing 11 days. They start to search the pond that's nearby the family home. On the 8th of February 2020, this is 12 days missing. The people of the surrounding area, they do like a candlelight vigil for him at 5 p.m. And again, you can see footage of this, and there's just so many people. There's so many people that are there. It's just people that knew him, people that didn't, teachers, just people there just who love this boy. And but some people who, lots and lots of people who didn't know him, but just that were, knew that this was a young lad that had just gone missing, and they just wanted to try and get him home. So now we get to the 11th of February 2020. We're now at 15 days, so we're gone 2 weeks now where this boy's missing. Letitia gives an interview with Fox 31 again, saying again, feeling very sorry for herself. There's no concern for Gannon, none in these interviews. Let me just tell you, these interviews are so bizarre. They're so weird. It's just, she's saying things that people have accused her of that haven't happened. No one's out and out accused her of doing anything. They're suspicious, but no one's out and out said you've done something to him. So she's just a very, very bizarre character. We get to the 21st of February 2020, and at this point the ground search has been suspended, but the case is still very much open, but they're moving the search area to further afield. They're not giving up, they haven't stopped, but they're just moving it a bit further out, okay, at this point. On the 28th of February 2020, there was supposed to be another search a bit further afield, organised, okay? It's called off. They call this, on this particular day, on the 28th of February, they call it off. It's all very odd. There's no reasons given about it, but it's quite obvious that something's going on behind the scenes, and there has been the whole time. Because you might be like, what are the police doing? What are the police doing in all of this? Well, they've known more than they've been letting on. Okay? So we get to the 2nd of March 2020. He's still not found. He's still not found at this point. I can't even imagine how that would feel as a mum. That's what I've just caught. I'm like, that amount of time not knowing. But Letitia, she's arrested. Now, Gannon hasn't been found, but she's arrested. And she's charged with murder. She's charged with child abuse. And she's charged with tampering with a dead body. Okay? And Gannon hasn't been found yet, but they've obviously got enough against this woman to charge her with all of these charges. So, on the 5th of March 2020, Albert files for divorce. Okay? And now we get to the 18th of March 2020. All right. It's been nearly 2 months. And unfortunately, the remains of a little boy are found in a suitcase. And this suitcase, right, has just been chucked. It's just been chucked over a bridge in a place called Pace in Florida. And it said that where it had been thrown over the bridge, the suitcase would have been aimed for the water. And it was said that had it made the water, then the suitcase, what was in the suitcase would have never been found because it had gone into the Gulf of Mexico, apparently. But it didn't. It didn't make it to the water, and it ended up down like what would you call it? Not a reservation of such, but just if you've got the bridge, you've got if you've got a bridge and you've got the walkway down to water, like not woods as such. You can see if you have a look online, but it hit there and it was just under the bridge, but the cars couldn't see it because there was some trees blocking it, and that's where this suitcase was. And inside was the badly decomposed body of Gannon Stauch. Oh, it's just awful. Just awful. Okay. So on the 20th of March 2020, so 2 days after this suitcase was found, his child had just been shoved in this suitcase. And the autopsy was done on Gannon. I remember it's been 2 months. It's been a really long time. But they found 18 stab wounds on this child. Not only that, he'd been shot in his jaw. He's 11. He's 11 years of age. And then he was wrapped up in bags, shoved into a suitcase, and thrown over a bridge. Just horrific. Absolutely horrific. On the 3rd of April 2020, basically on the 28th of February, okay? So, now, remember, that's nearly a month previous. On the 28th of February, an affidavit had been written, okay? And this was leaked on the 3rd of April 2020. God, I can't put my teeth back in my mouth. Oh, it's just, my brain's still going over what I've just said. I'm so sorry. It's just awful. So, there was an affidavit that had been written on the 28th of February. This was leaked on the 3rd of April 2020, okay? And what this affidavit said was that Letitia, she'd murdered Gannon in his bedroom, okay? Luminol had shown up in the bedroom, and basically the bedroom had been cleaned. So remember I says when the police first went round, when she'd reported him missing, nothing seemed untoward in this house. It was a very clean house anyway, so no particular area looked like, sometimes when I've done these stories and you've got these absolute holes of a house, and then you've just got like the bathroom spotless, like the bath spotless, just looked really odd compared to the rest of the house. There was nothing in their house that looked odd, that looked out of place. So they hadn't spotted anything at that time, but they'd gone back. And when they'd sprayed luminol, where it highlights if blood's being clean, so it can't be seen just to the naked eye, just as you're looking round. you know, just while lights are on and stuff. If you spray this stuff, if you're watching this channel, you've obviously heard of Luna, and they spray it round, turn the lights off, and it glows up any blood that's in the area. Oh, and there was blood just everywhere around his bedroom. It was everywhere. It was absolutely everywhere. It was on his bed, his mattress, his walls, his carpet, underneath his bed. It was in the carpet all the way through to the concrete. It was just everywhere. Oh, God. This poor boy. It was said that this had actually happened on the 27th of January 2020. And that he'd been disposed of the next day. So when Albert was coming back to search for his son, he was already dead. She'd already got him out the house. It was said she disposed of him originally in Colorado. And then when the police had come round and they'd checked the house and stuff, it was said she'd gone back and collected him. Do you remember the charge, tampering with a body? They knew she'd gone back and collected him because when they'd been doing the search, they'd found his blood in a certain area, but his body wasn't there. She'd removed him. It was said that when Albert had, I'll get to that bit. I'm going ahead of myself at the minute. So, okay. So that's when she'd done it. So we're going to go back to the beginning of January now. All right. So what she'd done, she'd left her phone at home so they couldn't trace it. So her phone, when they'd taken it to check it, it had always appeared like she'd been at home, like she hadn't been doing this driving around, getting rid of Gannon. While it had been going on, Lena had come home, his little sister, and we know she loved her brother, her Bubba. And what she'd done is sent her out to play while she was still cleaning up the blood from the crime scene. At 5 p.m, she texted Harley to bring her back some cleaning supplies from work. And an item on that list was baking soda. What do we use baking soda for? So just this rotten woman. On the 28th of January 2020, she'd actually rented a car to go and pick up Al. And the reason being is she'd actually gone back to collect Gannon and put him in her car, in the boot of her car, rented a car to go and collect Al, okay, because they'd be looking for her car, right? So she thought she was very clever. She actually wasn't. She wasn't as clever as she believed herself to be, because it was all, none of it made sense. She, in trying to be so clever, she actually messed herself up completely. On the 29th of January, so this is 2 days after Gannon goes missing, let me just tell you, if you don't know this story, let me just tell you what this woman was saying in her interviews, all right? Originally, she'd said, now remember, originally, he'd gone to his friends, he hadn't come home, missing child. That was the original phone call. That was originally what she told the police. When she comes in for this interview, okay, she brings some notes with her and stuff. But this is when the lies begin. The lies continue, all right? She says that Gannon, the night before, had dropped a candle on the carpet in the living room, okay? I've set her down in the basement. I think the way the house is laid out, it might have been the living room in the basement. I struggled when I've been looking into this for the layout, actual proper layout of the house. But he'd spilt a candle. Basically, there's footage of it. There's, you know, where the candles burnt burnt a bit of the carpet. It's a neat little happens. It's not a big deal. Okay. So what she says is that because this happened, and Albert's very funny about the house, that she actually went out when it happened and to find a person who was dealing with all the houses where they lived because of this particular carpet, and she found a guy called Eduardo, okay, who worked on these houses, and she asked him if he could come round and replace the carpet that had been burnt. All right, this is what she says. Hispanic man called Eduardo, okay. She reckons that when he came round, no, sorry, I've fast forwarded. These are the laws. You'll see why I've got myself confused. She says that when he was coming round, she'd had to go out, so she'd given him the code to get in the house, right? So when she came home, he was still there, and at gunpoint, he raped her, and she banged her head, and she got knocked out. When she came to, she could see Gannon, and this bloke began attacking her again at gunpoint. Gannon had jumped on his back, and he'd knocked Gannon off. When she tried to go back again, he banged her head again. She got knocked out. When she woke up, he'd gone. And she didn't... I'm sorry about this. She's not going to stop. Bear with me a second. I'm ever so sorry. Silly sausage. Go on. There we go. Right. Hopefully, she's not going to act up again. It wouldn't be alive without Mitzi, would it? It would not be alive. Okay, so this is it. So this is what she says happened. So when she came to, Gannon's gone, Hispanic man's gone, Eduardo, and she phoned the police, but she didn't know what to say. So she said Gannon had just not returned home. First lie, right? Okay. There's quite a few of them. There's quite a few of these lies. Okay. Then she says that actually he was still there when Lena had come home. So what he'd done, he had raped her, and when Lena walked in, he says, "Go on upstairs and deal with her, but don't tell her I'm down here." And because he was down there with Gannon, she went upstairs. So they're down in the basement. She goes upstairs, sees Lena, sends her out to play, comes down, and he rapes her again. She gets knocked out, and when she comes to, Gannon's gone. Okay, right, continue. So then she says, okay, that's not true. That's not true. When I phoned the police, he was actually still there. He was down in the basement with Gannon. And you phoned the police, why? Well, I phoned them, and the police looked round, but they didn't see him. And he went, once the police had gone, he demanded a suitcase, and he knocked me out. I don't know what happened. So she's trying to line up the suitcase. Okay. So she blacked out. Gannon had gone again. She reckons when she came round, she wanted to clean up a little bit before she phoned the police, though. So she cleaned up a little bit first. Right. And don't forget, she's waited 2 days to say this. This is 2 days after Gannon's gone missing. Don't forget that. She's just crazy. She's just absolutely crazy. Don't forget, remember the camera of the neighbour? No camera showed this. No camera showed some guy there. None. She was sending text messages throughout the day at the time when supposedly Eduardo was there. attacking her and kidnapping her stepson, you know, in a suitcase. There's nothing to show this. So, okay. So the police very, very, very early on, this is only 2 days after Gannon's gone missing, very early on, they knew. They knew there was something very, very wrong with this case, but they still wanted to find Gannon. Okay. So then, even though she reckoned she'd been raped numerous times by Eduardo, she refused the rape kit though. She refused it. And I've seen the interrogations, and she's just a nightmare. And she starts saying, oh, I'm having heart palpitations, and they have to send the paramedics in to check her heart. There's nothing wrong with her heart. Nothing wrong with her whatsoever. She starts saying they won't give me a drink, they give her a drink. She tries to hold on to her phone. They manage to get a phone off her though. It's just the interviews. You've never seen anything like it. I've sat through and watched these interviews. You've never, ever, ever seen anything like this woman, ever. It's just disgusting. It really is. It would be laughable if we wasn't talking about what we're talking about. It genuinely would. It would if you were watching this woman. Just the amount of lies. And none of it makes sense. It's just lie into lie. There's no sort of tying it up. She tries to tie a few loose ends, like the suitcase. But she's had 2 days to come up with this as well. Don't forget, she's had 2 days to come up with this sort of, this is what could have happened. Oh, my God. So, of course, Al's absolutely devastated. But he continues to be nice to her, even though he would have known very early on as well that they were suspicious of Letitia. Letitia? Yes, sorry. I shouldn't even be worried about mispronouncing her name, should I? So what he would do, he would speak to her on the phone while they were, while they detained her, and she'd be telling him all this rubbish, and he'd be like, it's okay. And it must have been so, so hard for him, because all the calls were being recorded so they could see what she was saying, what she was, excuses she was giving to him and everything. She wasn't bending. She wouldn't tell him anything. She was just a vile. I can't believe she loved him. There was Google searches that did say certain things like find military singles, and my husband uses me to babysit his kids and things like this. So she didn't love him. And the fact that she was putting him through all of that was just absolutely, you wouldn't put your worst enemy through what she was putting that man through. She changes her story over 6 times, I counted. There was another one with a guy called Quincy Brown, he was a wanted guy. Right, he wasn't even around that area, but he was a wanted guy. So she must have seen his name somewhere and was like, oh, it's him. It was him. Actually, it wasn't Eduardo. It was Quincy Brown. I was just too scared, so I made up Eduardo. And then she tried to say that this Quincy Brown, she'd been driving back from a pet shop, and he was laid down in the middle of the road, and he'd got up and come towards her, and he got in a car, and then he made her take him back to the house, and he'd raped her, and he'd taken Gannon. It was just lie after lie. Gannon had fell off his bike and banged his head, and then he'd been kidnapped. There was just ridiculous. I'm sure I probably missed a couple. Just ridiculous, this woman. Another thing I've missed out, she tried to there's a place that does fake lie detectors results, and I didn't know this was a thing. I didn't know this was a thing you could do, but there's actually a company where you supply the questions, you supply the answers, and they issue you with your lie detector results, and you can go, look, I passed. And it's gotta be for cheating couples or whatever else, but I actually again heard the phone calls of her on the phone to this particular company, and she's like, I'm waiting to receive my lie detector results. This is in the trial, and the guy's like, oh, yeah, hang on a minute. And he goes away, finds a name and everything else. She gives all the details. And he's like, yeah, we can't give you them. And she's like, but I've paid. And she's like, yeah, no, we can't give you these results. So I'm presuming she's asked herself questions like, did you kill your stepson? And she's like, no, I did not. And the worst thing about it, there's no lie detector, and she was expecting them to read that. Did you kill your stepson? No, I didn't. Oh, look, there's my lie detector to prove I didn't do it. I mean, could you imagine what would have happened to that company had they issued her with these results? I mean, it would have been found out regardless, but oh my God. And then the fact that there's a company that does this anyway, just ridiculous. Like I mentioned, her phone internet history was just terrible. While she's been detained, she tries to escape at one point. Woman's just ridiculous. She's absolutely ridiculous. We get to January the 21st, 2021. She's deemed mentally competent for trial because her defence, they really, really tried to say that this woman was crazy. They genuinely did try to say that she couldn't stand trial. Because what else could they do? She was bound to right. This woman was not walking away from this, but they tried. We get to April the 3rd, 2023. The trial begins. They bring the medical examiner. Remember I mentioned the autopsy. Oh, just awful. I mean, I know that's their job. I know it is. I know that's their job and that's what they do. But, oh, I just couldn't imagine being that woman, having to do the autopsy on little Gannon. But he had a lot of defensive wounds from the stabbings as well. There was 4 blunt force injuries to his head, severe blunt force injuries to his head. And the gunshot to the jaw would have been the final wound. And the cause of death, it was the gunshot and the 4 blunt force injuries. It was the defensive wounds that got me, though. Because he knew, and he fought against that. And I think the reason it was so upsetting is because there's actually there's a recording. I don't know why she recorded it. I couldn't tell you, but there's a recording of you remember I mentioned the burning of the carpet. It was a candle apparently, and you can just hear this child crying his eyes out. And he's saying it hurts, like he's obviously burnt himself. And she's like, I don't know what we're going to do. We're going to have to sell something. We're going to have to sell the sofa to replace this carpet. Are you telling me you didn't do this on purpose? And he's like, no. And it's just, it's heartbreaking to hear because you can just hear this little boy is just, he's really, really crying. And when you realise he's burnt, he's obviously crying in pain. He's crying from the situation. And she doesn't even sound angry in the recording. And I presume it's because she was recording. She's just very cold. And it's like, wow, we're going to have to sell the sofa, aren't we? Because, your dad's going to go mad. And it just a horrible recording to listen to when you know what happened shortly afterwards. And the defensive wounds, I think hearing that and then knowing the defensive wounds, it's just awful. And also in the toxicology report, they found, I think it's oxycodone in his system, and it was actually Albert's medication, so she drugged him as well, so he couldn't fight too hard against that, which again is still even more heartbreaking because of the fight he did give against her, even though she drugged him up. You know, so maybe if she'd have known that if she hadn't drugged him up, maybe he really could have fought against this. It's just vicious, vile viper of a cave. On the 8th of May 2023, the trial concludes. A sentence. God, thank God America came into play this time. She was found guilty, life without parole, plus 156 years. Only thing that would have made that any better would have been if the death penalty had been into play. That would have been the only thing that would have made it better. A judge said it was just the most horrific crime I've ever seen. Just absolutely awful. Awful case. I believe Al has gone on to have a little boy since. He'd gone on to meet somebody. He's gone on to have a little boy, I believe. But Landon, all of them, just they've devastated this family. And it's a really heartbreaking watch. I mean, there's so much online about it. There really is. I mean, some of the lies I've probably... There's so much. The interrogations are hours long. There's just so much. There's so many lies this woman told. I hope I've got them all there. But she just didn't stop. And to this day, she's never admitted it. I say to this day, it hasn't been that long, but she just hasn't admitted that she did it. I mean, they obviously, we know it was, but it's just letting someone like that. And that's why I says it was ironic at the beginning when Albert was going for full custody of the kids because he felt they weren't safe with Landon and her new partner, Mike. I mean, he didn't know he was living with the devil herself. He didn't know. How could he? Just a horrific, horrible woman. And if you get the chance, go and have a look at her. She's just vile. She looks how I spoke about her. She's just awful, vile woman. And that was the devastating Gannon Stauch story. Ugh, oh God, just awful, isn't it? Just absolutely awful. Oh, how are we? How are we in the comments? Do you know what? It's actually, I haven't been able to say any because once I'd started, it gets rid of the comments. You know how it's driving me crazy how it'll get rid of the comments. So it had actually got rid of them. So once I started, I didn't actually say anything that's happened. I haven't seen who's been in or anything. So how are we all? Have we still got people here? Have we still got people on the live? If we have, thank you for staying with me. I really appreciate it. Just a horrible story though, no? Just awful. You are here. I know you can get the dishes. How was we doing in the comments? Awful story. She's an absolute diva. She probably would have run out and back. Are you on about this? Letitia just is insane. I think jealous of Landon. If you want to know, right? Do you think? Hi Jessica. Do you think she was jealous of Landon? I don't know. Yeah, I think you could be right because of when they met at the softball, but I think it was having Al. She wanted Al, so she would have been jealous, but I think she wanted Al, but she just didn't want those kids. I don't think she wanted the kids at all, and I think that wasn't part of the agreement, maybe. It's just awful. We need what to happen, Warwick. What? Oh, what I said at the beginning. Oh, what with the? Oh, I can't. It keeps messing about. What's it doing? Drives me crazy. Sorry, we've just gone out. Sorry, I realised I just got barely a sex change. What is going on? What have you been discussing in the comments? Is Phil still with us as well? Yes, of course he is. I've just seen him. Yes, of course he is. Who've we had in this evening? So I've seen Jessica. Thank you for joining us. And Phil, Hayley, Tiffany. I've seen you. You look bad. What have you been starting on? What have you been starting on Bailey during the comments, Tiffany? What's been going on? Oh, is Kelly here as well? Hi, Kelly. How are we? We have a show about. It's Cashback. So I got it. So he's like, yes, he did. He seemed absolutely awful. Chat about dog. Have you seen? Did you see the Mitzi? Is that what did it? Because she was driving me crazy. She was driving me crazy. She genuinely was. When your message disappeared, still here. Yes, we do need Warwick for that. We do, because don't defend who? Don't defend who? Halo. Thank you, Phil. You're still here as well. Thank you. These bloody messages are they just keep going off. They drive me crazy. It's great. Yeah, you're right. It'd be good when Warwick's here. It'd be absolutely bad. You're about the Bailey. Leave Bailey. Leave the Bailey. Do you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to take this off because I'm not too loud, am I? So I don't need these. Oh, they're absolutely killing my ears. They are. So I'm going to take, I don't need to take them out, do I? No, because I'm not listening to anyone. Oh, they're killing me. Can you still hear me? That doesn't affect anything, does it? Oh, they were really... Look how red my ears are. They were absolutely killing my ears. They were then. I'm going to have to think of some... Maybe I can't... Am I too loud now? I'm not too loud now, am I? Maybe I shouldn't wear earrings if I'm going to wear the headphones. Although it did zone me in. I felt very zoned in this evening. I genuinely did. Hey, Kelly, how you doing? Oh, you missed my thing earlier, didn't you? Oh, God, it was bad. It was really bad. Oh, God, I can't believe what I did earlier on. Do you know, I've done the... I'm not trying to... I'll go back here then. Do you know, I've tried to phase it out, and now that I've finished the story, I've remembered what I did at the beginning. I don't think it was too loud, though, no. Do you think it was obvious? I think there was only a couple of you there when I did it, weren't you? Oh, God, I don't know what I was thinking. If I did it at the end, I probably wouldn't be as... God, I did it right at the beginning. I don't know what I was thinking of. Just ridiculous. Look. No, that's exactly what it was. I could do it at the end. I did that thing, Kelly. Oh, God. But you're still live. But you're still live. Oh, but you're still live. But you're still live. Because I'm at the end. And for some reason, I thought it was just us. Oh, my God. Oh. Yeah. Yeah, I need the earbud. Oh, God. One, Hayley, it's your friend, because you're really late. And two, I don't know what I was thinking. I don't know why I thought that'd be okay. I don't know why I thought that'd be okay. I pulled it back. Look at the sweating. Now I'm sweating again. But I pulled it back. Oh, I'm glad you are. I was... No, you're not getting me again. You're not getting me again. I'm not doing it again. Oh, my God. Oh, wow. I can't believe I did it again. Who does that? Who does it twice on a live? Who does that? Well, that's great, isn't it? That's great. That's always good to do on this kind of channel. It would have been better if I'd have done it on my live the other night. No, I'm not doing it again. If I'd done it on the other live, it'd have been fine. That would have been okay. And you're not spelling it right either. You're not spelling it right. It's a. I can't do it. I can't. I can't do it. I can't. I'm not getting dragged into it again. I'm not doing it again because that was. It's all because of my mic. That's what's done it. That's what started this off, Kelly, earlier on because of the mic. Well, there you go. There's three. There's three for you. There's three. Is it that? What is it? Do you call it intrusive thoughts? Is that intrusive thoughts where they win? It's just my intrusive thoughts have won me this one, haven't they? They really have. It would have been fine the other night. That would have. That would have been fine. I don't even know. I don't even know how I'm gonna. I've done it, Kelly. I've done it twice. I'm not doing it again. I've done it 3 times. I can't do it again. You can't do it again. Poor Phil. Phil, are you okay? Have you any idea of what they're laughing at? They're just awful. They're just so naughty. They really are. They're just a really naughty bunch. I think Jessica's gone. Jessica's like, wow, this isn't the channel for me. This isn't for me. She's gone. Oh, God, look at yous. Look at yous all loving yourselves. Absolutely loving yourselves, ain't ya? You're just patting yourselves on the back there in the corner. Oh, my God. Wow. That was fun. That was fun. That was fun, wasn't it? I don't even know what to say. I don't even know what... It got to have been the intro. Do you know, I actually thought when I seen it the other day, I was... Oh, God. Really? No! It was the mic. It was the mic. That's what it was. It was the mic. Well, I don't know why I've just put it to my mouth. I don't know why I just did that. I don't know why I put it to my mouth. It's all soft. I don't know why I've just bounced your ear. Sorry. I don't know what's going on. I don't know why I've done it. I don't know why I've bought myself a mic. Oh, no, it's just gone down. They're so naughty, Phil. They really are. They're just a really naughty bunch of girls. They honestly are. It's just, I need to get my rose on the top. That's what I need to, look at the finger and everything. It's just, oh, yous are just the innuendos. And Warwick's not even here. He's not even here egging this on. Yous are just doing it all on your own. You can't blame. Do you know, every time I blame that man, yous are just terrible. Yous are all terrible. And I blame him every time. Warwick gets the brunt of it every time. I'm not blaming him anymore. He's not even... Oh, God, that was just... Oh, that was just awful. 3 times. 3 times I just did that. Soft isn't any good. It's not any good. And you're making me say it out loud. Do you know the worst thing? I don't reckon anyone... I've got to get the rose on it. I know I keep... It's just a lot. It's just become... No one realised just what a source of amusement this would become, did we? We just didn't realise. We didn't realise what was going to happen. I'm never going to look at her the same way again. She was a she. I was saying, isn't she pretty? Oh, look. Oh, that's okay, Jessica. I'm kind of glad you missed. Thank you, Phil. Yes, it is jingle time. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. I've kept you long enough. And these are just having a field time in the comments. So it is jingle time. And if you are watching tomorrow, if you want to join my Patreon, it's patreon.com/JessRose5472. Or I'd love to see you on the lives just so you can do what these bunch have done to me this evening. And yeah, just just, I don't even know what to say. So, yeah, or you can like, comment, and subscribe, guys. Look, comment, subscribe. Why? Why would you do that to me? Why? Like, comment, and subscribe, guys. Comment, and subscribe, please. Please, come on, like, comment, and subscribe, please. I can't. Like, comment, and subscribe, please. You is terrible. You is so bad. No, never again. Never again. Why did I oh my God. Oh no. Oh God. Phil, I tried. I tried, mate. I genuinely did. Look what they did. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, you're right. You are right, Jessica. You are, yeah. She just weren't right. She weren't right in the head. Much like a lot of the girls that are in the comments with you, to be honest. Much like the girls in the comments. Fuck. Got me swearing now as well. Oh my God, you've got me swearing. I'm going to go. I'm going before I get into any trouble because these girls are causing a problem, Jessica and Phil. They're causing me issues. And I know I'm going to do something else. I know I'm so close to doing it. So, and my intrusive thoughts are going to win. And then I'm going to do it. And then I'm going to be like, oh my God, I've done it again. Ah, thank you, Phil. Thank you so much for joining me. Thank you to Phil. Ah, she does work it on that way. Yeah, I did. That's exactly what I did. No, no more. Thank you, Phil, and thank you, Kelly. And Kelly, and Jessica, and Hayley, and Tiffany, my moderator extraordinaire. Yous are all fantastic. Thank you all so much. And I'll see you. I said Kelly, haven't I? And I think Sharon was in earlier. And thank you all so much. Phil, thank you so much. Thank you. And I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. My jingle went horribly wrong tonight. But he is. What did you do to him? It's such a shame. What did you do? But, oh, right, Tuesday, thank you, Jessica. Thank you very much. Tuesday, I'm going to be doing the Garnet and Lacey Spears story. I feel like you are, Phil. I think it's just you tonight. And Jessica seems to be holding her own. Not me, obviously, but the one in the comments. Something's gone horribly wrong. I held it all the way through as well. I thought I'd done really, really well. And then I finished the story and look what happens. Look what they do to me. They're just terrible. But yes, I'll be doing that on Tuesday, that one. And I will see you all on Tuesday. If you could like, comment and subscribe. Like, comment, subscribe, guys. Like, comment, subscribe.